And the data said there was no collision. I mean, the data was plainly clear, and they, I can't believe that. He tried to go through this idea that the data doesn't lie.
Yeah, I know. And you're like, what data?
What data? What data? Then what data is helping you? And by the way, I thought Jackson did an extraordinarily good job at talking about John O'Keefe using his phone.
Yeah. Bearded Dragon said, where are we? Did they rest for the weekend? Yeah, I think they're going to be back on Monday.
They're back on Monday. Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm on YouTube. As you guys come back, I don't know what happened. It glitched out, so I'm back up. Hopefully we'll finish strong. Yeah. So there was no collision by any witnesses. No witnesses.
Yeah, this is a really good point too. Wouldn't the backup camera signal a warning, and the car's computer would have recorded that? This is true. It's a different data set that they didn't bring into trial. Yeah. But it's a different data set that would have. They keep talking about the tech stream data, which is the recording of how the car moves. But there's a different computer that deals with accident prevention, and that one should have been like beeping at her if she was about to strike something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Erica's back. Alyssa's back. We're just reloading our YouTube feed, guys, because we got bumped. I don't know what happened, man. We were having such a killer show. They were like, nope, fuck you.
Jen's asking, what do you think about Bev picking the lead juror before the alternates? I don't have any opinion about that. Do you? About how they picked the jury?
No. I'm sure they've been doing it forever. I want to get me one of them.
One of those little tourney.
I want to get me one of them boxes. Lotto machines they got going. That was pretty cool. I was like, man, we turned this shit into a bingo game. What was interesting though was like some of the selections. There was a juror that they called. What did they call the juror? The notes juror.
The foreman.
Notes.
Oh no, they called him. I think they just called him the note taker.
The note taker, but anyway, he was a juror that had diligently taken.
He was like copious notes,
and didn't get selected.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking so burn I would feel there.
And apparently the jury foreman, the person who was selected as the jury foreman, was just juror number 1, and apparently he did not take any notes at all during trial at all.
He didn't take a note. He's like, "You're the foreman." I didn't even take a note. That's the guy we want.
It's so lame that the guy who was like the best student in class just didn't get picked by random. He like really earned the position, you know?
I'm so bummed that the YouTube crashed.
He probably has like one of those detective crazy walls like at home, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just going to go back home and like drop off his bags, like
yeah,
tear it all down in a fit of sadness.
You never said when do you think the verdict is coming in, Angela?
Oh, I think... well, I don't know. I'm kind of a pessimist about this stuff. I think it'll take a really long time and make everybody worry. But I don't think she's gonna get a single guilty charge. But I think they're gonna make everybody worry. I think they're gonna deliberate a really long time.
So do you think it's gonna be a verdict, or do you think it's gonna be a hung jury?
Oh, I don't know. I know that she's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, she wouldn't if it's a not guilty verdict or a hung jury.
That's what I'm saying. Dale. That's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I
said.
All right,
well, then
clearly.
I believe you.
Hazel Weatherfield said, the Commonwealth never said, was it a 3-point turn or a 60-foot straight line reversal? Why didn't John O'Keefe move? Also, I was disappointed that that Alan Jackson did not bring up that there were other cars parked on the street when Karen Reed supposedly
Well, he did. He talked about the Ford. He didn't bring it up in that respect, but he did bring up the Ford Fiesta. Or is that what it was?
No.
A Ford.
Do you think any of these guys try?
No.
That's hilarious.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew I fucked up.
Can you imagine Higgins like squeeze? It'd be like one of those. Like,
I'm getting in my Ford Fiesta.
It'd be like one of those like clown cars.
Karen, you're hot. You're hot.
You have to step in like this, like all like with his legs all the way up.
That's hilarious.
You know those little like yellow and red cars that every kid has?
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
You see them that's like in every Will Ferrell movie, I think.
CZ Nelly said Jackson told them in close first time a separate law enforcement agency, then said it wasn't stat. Oh, I guess maybe Stafford. Yeah, a separate law enforcement agency. I noticed that he said that very carefully.
What?
He wanted to be very clear.
What are we talking about?
A separate law enforcement agency.
a separate law enforcement agency. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that?
Yes. Which is like, he's talking about the FBI.
Yeah, then it becomes certainly not the fucking CIA.
Yeah. What about when Brennan, the Jelly is saying, what about when Brennan said Arca didn't have the right expertise on fabrics?
Oh my God.
This guy.
Besides, like, what's so embarrassing about that is you can see the fucking bite marks. You can see them as bite marks. Like, you can see their punctures. You can see that that whatever went in came out.
Do you feel like you would have had a clearer picture if they had brought in a fabrics expert?
Maybe, but maybe not. What I like about I like the idea of that there's at least some things that the jurors can be smart enough to just see, because you can see that if something goes in, everyone's punctured something.
Yeah.
We've stapled paper. We know that when you take the staples out, we've also taken staples out of paper, and we've never seen staples that that when we staple them, it goes the other way, right? Like we see the exit, the paper. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it's not the best example, but when you're stabbing or something like that, when you pull up, you're gonna bring fabric with it, especially fucking teeth. I don't know, babbling too much about it, but another thing they did incredibly well. I can't believe Aperture got $400,000 from the. What was the other thing that they said Aperture did? They had the fucking stupid paint the forearm blue, and then what else did they do?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking this up. You were talking about how the plastic had to go in through these puncture wounds and then create all these scrapes. Yeah. And it reminded me, somebody else was talking about...
to create the fabric, the plastic would have had to come out.
Yes, I know. And it was and somebody was talking about that it's very much like the magic bullet theory with JFK.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were trying to figure out how one bullet could cause all of this different damage and ricochet all over the place, you know? And it just reminded me of that. Like, it's just an improbable thing, and the jury is going to see right through that.
Another brilliant thing that Jackson said was that he said there were 9 holes. There were 9 punctures on that fabric, but there were 34 wounds on his arm. So somebody explained how 34 shards of plastic got through 9 holes to create 34 abrasions.
Jelly said, well, what expert were they supposed to get for the holes in the sweater? Someone from fashion school?
Fashion school? A seamstress?
Yeah.
I saw somebody else say, what are they supposed to get? A seamstress? Excuse me. Let me have a look at this. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that was Jelly. But Arca isn't an expert in fabrics. Should have called the seamstress.
Yeah, call the seamstress, exactly.
What are your thoughts on the judge? Lancaster wants to know.
I thought that the judge, I felt corruption happening in that courtroom.
Oh, Dale was like shouting at the TV.
I was shouting at the TV.
He was very, very upset.
How did they not, what was her name? I always, the older woman who would go, that woman.
The medical examiner?
She was, yes, the world medical examiner. I don't mean to make fun of her, but it was like weird.
She was a weird breather.
I was like, what are you doing?
I don't know if I think that might be like an MS or
some kind of involuntary. Symptom, I know it just sounds funny, and I'm sorry that I'm making fun of it, but anyway, that she wasn't admitted as a dog bite expert when she had previously been admitted as a dog bite expert in a federal case. Yep. When she clearly, as a medical examiner, has examined literally, like, here's what drove me crazy about the decision to not allow her to be a witness, and why I felt like it really showed the judge's bias in this case. Because the judge said in a prior motion, she said when they were arguing, and then she decided to go with the voir dire, she said to Jackson, how many of these dog bite autopsies has she performed? And Jackson didn't know, and he said, I don't know, something like 5 or something like that. And then she said to Jackson, well, if it's five, I'm not probably going to let her in as an expert. 5's just not enough. The witness shows up. It wasn't 5. It was at least 50 or 10 times the number that Jackson offered. And in addition to the 50 that she personally autopsied, she oversaw at least 75 more fatalities by dog bites for a total of 125 cases. Now, listen, I don't know how many fucking people are dying by dog bites in this country, but there's no way that there's enough of them to make some kind of like wild, like database in one single examiner's career. I think it's very reasonable to think that somebody who has seen 50 to 125 fatalities by dog bites and performed or otherwise supervised autopsies on them, that person is a dog bite expert.
That's right.
It's absurd. But where it really showed its true colors was when she said, if it's 5, I'm not going to let her in as an expert. And then she got the answer 50 and didn't let her in as an expert. 50 plus 75 on the supervisor side as well.
Yeah, so the judge had made up her mind.
The bias is there.
Laura Walton in the TikTok chat said 1,000% guilty. And then
guilty.
Janine Frank.
Guilty, really?
And then Janine Franco said. Thing. And then Janine. I hope I'm saying this right. Janine Franco said, "Who, the police cover up? Yes, they are.
Yes. If you're
1,000% guilty.
You are a wild minority. 1,000% guilty."
Rhonda said the medical evidence wins this case. I pray the jurors see that.
Exactly.
It has to start at the body. The body tells the story about what happened.
Well, you know what's funny about that is because every time we watch crime shows, we go on binges sometime watching true crime. It's like the perfect thing to like play a little video game or solitaire and have true crime on the background. It's a fun little pastime for us. And
you make us sound like sickos, Dale.
We've watched enough to know that the one thing that every prosecutor and every cop craves is the body. They want the body because the body tells the story.
Yep, that's right.
The body tells the story. Well, no bruises on a vehicle strike. I told the story about how I got hit by a car at 25 miles an hour, approximately 25 miles an hour when I was a kid. And I jumped up because I saw the car coming in enough time to jump up, and I pulled my legs up, and my back and my ass hit the windshield, bounced off onto the pavement, and I was never struck by any other part of the vehicle. So I had a nice little cushion on that windshield to hit me, right? And then I went bouncing on the pavement a couple of feet in front of the car. I was so fucking bruised off of like a windshield is much more flexible than a hard lens or bumper or corner panel of a fucking Lexus SUV. Like you could see my ass shape in the windshield that hit me. Like it was like I sat in it and I was bruised heavily bruised. There's just no logical reason to believe that a car would strike John O'Keefe and not leave bruises, let alone broken bones. And that alone says that she didn't hit him. So she can't be convicted of any of those charges. You have to bruise somebody with a car when you hit it with a car going 25 miles an hour or fast enough to send that person flying backwards with enough force to kill them. To hit their head and kill them. Because, by the way, that also means no break fall. And you know what? Let me tell you how, like in jiu-jitsu and in wrestling, you learn how to fall. Because if you don't, you're going to land on your head. Your head is going to strike. We actually learn how to break fall.
Yeah, I mean, some of us learn. I never really learned very well.
Okay, well, we're taught. We're actually taught how to break fall to try and protect our heads. Mm-hmm. So the move that Higgins would do to potentially take him down, if John O'Keefe doesn't know how to break his fall, his head's going to be the first thing that strikes that pavement. And that will be enough force to cause the damage, the fracture, and eventually the ending of his life. Go ahead. What do you got?
Hazel Weatherfield said, I think he staggered after the blow for at least a little while. The blood trails were front and back. But the medical examiner said that he couldn't have been able to stagger. Well,
a medical examiner can say that because it makes sense scientifically, but the human body is a wild fucking beast. And
if he struck his head on the ground, meaning his head hits the ground.
Yeah.
I don't think that injury would have permitted him to get back up to his feet.
I agree with you.
I don't think so.
I agree with you.
I think he may have rolled over on his side and tried to one of these, but I don't think that he would have been able to get to his feet.
He's not going to walk back and forth. He's not going to unlock his phone.
I don't think he's going to get up onto his feet.
He's not going to scroll texts.
Yeah, definitely not. The first thing that goes with the head injury is the ends of your extremities stop working. Yeah. That's why you see if people get concussed in a boxing ring or something, they get really wobbly feet. And then when they throw a punch, they miss. It's because the very ends of your extremities your body prioritizes the oxygen, so that it draws all the blood from from the ends, and so he wouldn't have been able to manipulate his hands to work a phone.
Have you ever been knocked out cold by a blow to your head?
No, never.
I have.
I mean, maybe I was in a car accident when I was a baby.
I was on my cousin was I was on my cousin's shoulders and he let go of my legs. And I landed on my head.
Oh no.
Yeah, out cold.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It was 50 years ago ish.
That's messed up.
Maybe 40 years ago.
Did you ever get
Definitely
your head
more than
checked?
40.
Did you ever get like scanned?
They didn't tell anybody.
Oh my.
They kept it. They told me that I couldn't tell, and I vomited. I
You're
was
just like
so
these guys.
sick.
They were
I
like
was
they were
so
like the Higgins
sick.
and the Alberts.
I was concussed 100%.
Oh my God, Dale!
Yeah.
You could have had like a serious brain injury.
I know that, but they let me go to sleep. The fools. I'm lucky I didn't die.
Yeah.
Point is that I was out cold. Like my head hit the back of my head. It didn't split my head open. There was no blood. It hit a hardwood floor, which is definitely a softer surface compared to concrete or frozen ground. And
Wow.
my head didn't split open, but I was out cold and not even able to I mean, I didn't move at all. I was just out cold. They carried me up to I can't imagine what they went through because my cousin was 15 years old. I was like 9.
Oh, Hazel Weatherfield said that in the last trial she was acquitted for the first and third offense, but hung jury for manslaughter.
Yeah, for the manslaughter charge, exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if she was hung for the manslaughter, then then I wouldn't have put it on I wouldn't have put it on there. If the prosecution was ready to leave the lesser charges off, I don't know why they didn't do it. I'm no attorney, you know. I'm not even really all that smart, but I don't know why they wouldn't do it.
You're very smart.
You think I'm smart?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Even though
Thanks.
you had that horrible head injury.
I had a bunch of I had a bunch. I got scars.
Yeah, dude, because you have Aries in your 6th house.
My brother knocked me out cold, blood everywhere.
You're always going to get injured in your head because you got Aries in your 6th house. That's how that works.
I grew up during a time when head injuries were like my dad.
Working class folks get head injuries.
My dad bought us boxing gloves one Christmas, big like puffy ones, and we would always be boxing. And every now and then my dad would get in on it. And my dad was boxing one of my friends, and he ran into the corner, and my dad chased him, and then my dad punched him in the head, and his head like went like between the wall and my dad's glove.
That's very responsible.
And my friend out cold, and we just brought him to, and then sent him home.
Oh my God.
This is like whatever, like 1981 or something.
That's how it
We
goes.
just sent him home. My dad was just like, "You all right?" I was like, "Okay." Sent this kid home with a fucking concussion. My dad punched him in the face.
Your dad assaulted a child.
Yeah.
And just sent him home.
We were playing.
Rhonda said about John O'Keefe that 2 people picked him up and put him in the yard. Do we know how that went?
Well, yeah, I would agree. That's probably what happened. That it was probably more than one person because like he's 219 pounds. So I doubt one person was like, throwing that over the shoulder. So yeah, I would agree. Probably 2 people carried him out. Maybe Colin.
Maybe.
I never jumped down any Colin rabbit holes. So I don't know, but.
Morgan and Cece Nelly said that they added DUI just recently, 4 charges now because the defense added DUI. So she may get convicted on a DUI.
Wouldn't that be funny as hell?
Yeah, I mean, if they're like, she
Well,
doesn't
they'll give her a
deny it.
DUI if it's on there.
Yeah.
They'll give her one.
I know, and all the news will say that she got convicted.
Well, actually, I got to tell you, man, like I love that they put in there's reasonable doubt on the DUI. You know, Higgins talked about how he went home and drank.
Yeah.
After the bar, after O'Keefe's, after Albert's,
and then he drove to the police station.
And then he drove to the police station.
Everybody's driving drunk.
Everybody's and drinking copious amounts of alcohol doing it.
Our lease.
It is weird that it was never brought up that John O'Keefe was apparently okay with driving with her.
Yeah.
Like that just never comes up because they talked about how even what's her face, the sister-in-law, what's her name? Jennifer McCabe?
Yeah, I don't know. Our lease hag. Sorry if I butchered your username. I feel like even with a conviction, the appeal will be granted. What do you think?
Yes, I think the appeal. Yeah, well, I think that this judge really left so many things open for appeal. The the fuck up on the back of of the sweater was just, to me, that was like mistrial worthy.
Yeah, totally.
Like if I was sitting there, defendant in that case, and I, because there's no way that Brennan didn't deliberately do that. He knew very well where those holes came from.
Right.
It was his experts who created there was the Commonwealth experts that created them. It wasn't a mistake. It was him deliberately trying to mislead the jury. And I think that if they get a conviction, they're going to get an easy retrial on Brennan's copious number of fuck ups, because they're time and time. The other thing is like he was badgering witnesses. Now you're not going to get a retrial on that, but
Can I say something?
I think they can add to it. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that they put DUI in there. I think maybe the defense might see that it's it's advantageous to them, to Karen Reed, if they get at least a clean verdict, right? So that the Commonwealth can't just charge her again or put her.
That's why I would have just
trial.
wanted the murder too. And
So that may be why they put the DUI on there. CeCe Nelly said it was a win that they put the DUI on the charges, though. And Morgan said that's why defense added it, to try to prevent the hung jury again. So that means that they wouldn't have a hung jury if they at least have a conviction of one thing.
If they got one conviction.
So they just gave them like a freebie.
Well, that's not true. We saw a hung jury in Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein got convicted, acquitted, and hung on 3 different charges.
I know, but
they're all gonna count.
It's a different state, and so I don't know whether
I don't know that that's true. Because well, can they convict her on more than one charge? I see what you're saying. You're saying if they convict, that's interesting.
that they get a clean verdict if she's convicted on one charge.
Right. But it was
weird
they have to
because she was acquitted
acquit.
of
They have to
2.
acquit on the other charges. They can't. They have to.
I don't know what the
They have to
strategy
put a
is.
They have to put a
Do you
verdict.
know? Does it make sense to you, the strategy?
I don't. It doesn't make sense because you have to put a verdict in. Like the jurors can't say, "Oh, we're just going with the DUI and that's it." They got to go, "No, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty." So that's that. I don't know what the strategy is. The strategy is the only strategy I can think of for the defense is that that in case she gets in case I don't know. I don't get it. It's a very uncomfortable decision to make.
CeCe Nelly said that she shouldn't be charged with DUI because the statute has run. That's why it was a win. Oh, that's so interesting. Statute of limitations is expired.
No, I don't know whether they would be able to charge her with it. If it's stat barred, then they're going to easily appeal that. If she gets convicted.
Hazel Weatherfield said the defense could have found the foremost fabrics expert, and Hank would have still said not qualified.
Yeah. I hate that his name is Hank. It bothers me.
Because you love the name Hank.
I love the name Hank. It's one of my favorite names ever. I got, my friend, I mentioned him in the book. I say Big Hank 420.
Yeah.
He doesn't go by Hank at all. But it gave me a reason to write Hank into my book.
Hazel Weatherfield said that the judge had to separate 2 jurors for laughing and talking when Hank was blathering. Can you imagine? I don't remember that. Do you remember anything happening? Did they have to stop?
This is when? Which
Today?
point? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, well, I did see that, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
She was like, you guys cannot talk in class.
Yeah, it was like that.
Well, that's embarrassing for the prosecution.
Yeah, it was. By the way, for those of you who don't know, my name is Dale Wheatley, and I wrote and produced a movie called Don's Plum starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire, and those fuckers ruined my life over it. And in 2019, in a documentary they were doing about it called Curse of Don's Plum, that's the name of the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio decided to call me a thief and a liar, and it pissed me off so much that I wrote a book about it. It's called Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir, and you can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited, or pick it up on tworealbook.com. But I'd love for you to check it out because it's a badass book. And don't take my word for it. Read the reviews. This whole live is brought to you by my book, Dale Wheatley's Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir. And in it, you can read about how Leonardo DiCaprio was a fucking asshole. Is that too harsh?
No. Suzanne Ford said, Colin Albert, they're protecting him.
Yes.
Bueno King said, let's not forget his knuckles right after. Oh, his knuckles were bruised. Elefante said they were neighbors and would fight petty fights like throwing beer cans on his lawn on purpose because they didn't like each other. Elefante said, and John O'Keefe was investigating him. Suzanne Ford said he was so young, so they're protecting him because he's so young. Elefante said the Alberts would not protect Higgins. I think they're probably into other dirty stuff and didn't want it exposed, said Sarah Ritchie Trahan. Well, you guys have all the scoops.
They got the scoops,
I love this.
man.
You guys are so.
We're watching it every day. It's because we're just watching the trial. We're not watching everybody else who's like, getting in the weeds.
Yeah. Well, also like we're newbies because we've just watched the second trial. I didn't watch the first one.
Oh, Delicate's back. Hello, Delicate. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I got this like weird notification and I didn't even get. I'm sorry, YouTubers. My bad. Tobey Maguire has done very bad things, as the book explains. Oh, yes, that's true. Wow, there, it's Kira. Hi, Kira Singer. I love the books that Leo edits. Thank you, guys. You guys are always so kind to me. Stopping in.
Oh, Hazel Weatherfield said apparently they've already confessed in the bars. Higgins said, all I did was try to get the dog off of him.
Well, why isn't that witness on the stand?
What?
If that's true, I mean, I believe that. And that's the other thing, by the way, about the dog. And Angela,
dog could have pushed him over.
Angela's Angela, who you hear on TikTok, you hear her off screen. On YouTube, you guys of course see Angela. Angela's a dog trainer, and we get dogs in here all the time. And we had these German Shepherds. They were like, the dog breed in question here is German Shepherds. And so we had these German Shepherds. They were high-strung German Shepherds, not unlike the ones the German Shepherd we heard about over at the Alberts. And Angela, of course, knew a lot more about that. I didn't, because I don't have any expertise in dogs whatsoever. But we take dogs to parks, and that's sort of part of how Angela evaluates them. Or maybe we just exercise them to get tired so that we can bring them home and work with them, whatever it might be. So we take them to these big dog parks that we get to rent here in our town, and it was like a nice private park. So I was running around with these German Shepherds, and I was just having a gay old time, having a really good time, bouncing around like a whatever. Well, Angela was like, hey, stop. She's like, jumps up. She's like, no, you got to stop right now. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, no, stop. These dogs are going to fucking attack you. Sure enough, I stopped. This dog almost takes me out. Like, it's that fucking close that this dog almost takes me out. But Angela was like, no, you got to stop right now. So she was reading this body language like off to the side as I was just like jovially bouncing around like through the field like some kind of fucking fairy.
You were frolicking.
I was frolicking in the grass with the dogs.
And the dog was tripping. Actually, the dog was highly stressed out and was actually trying to not shepherd you, but
stop me from doing it.
Stop you because you were like too high energy.
Well, this is the important point I'm making. Preference. So this is what you explained to me. You were like, the dog needed you to stop what you were doing. Yeah. So if John O'Keefe is getting attacked and he's defending himself, or he's shouting, or he's whatever, or he's flailing, a dog attacking because they want that activity to stop is completely within the psychology of
totally
dogs.
Normal and common for a dog who's like stressed and defensive to try and stop everybody else's activity. That's a lot of times why one dog will turn on another dog in a house when the second dog starts barking.
Right.
They're like, they can't tolerate.
Right. Like another dog's barking at something else entirely at the door.
The vocalization is like a stressful trigger. And so the dog is like, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of the ways is that they're just policing each other's energy.
So the dog attacking him.
If a dog is like really socially sensitive, or even if John O'Keefe just walked in the house and was like, hey, what's up, bros? Like shouted hello or something, and didn't realize he was walking like maybe into the garage where the dog was or something.
And that's another plausible scenario, because once again, we have a situation where the Alberts get the fucking the lid peeled back, and they don't want that. So this accident happens. This is why I'm 100% certain, because when you look at the evidence and you look at Higgins and you look at the motive that lies within there, and you can see it. And by the way, when you're drunk, like this guy, look at like I'm not going to be a dick here, but like Higgins is not a catch, and Karen Reed is kind of a catch in comparison. Not only that, but she's really, really successful. She drives like $100,000 car. She owns multiple properties. I mean, this woman is killing it in life. So she has that going for her on top of it. And so when you're sitting there getting all wasted at a bar and you're watching her make out with the guy that you already know she doesn't want to be with and that she wants to be with you, it changes the chemistry in your fucking brain. It just does. Especially if you're a lonesome oaf of a cop, who's practically loathed wherever he goes except for his fucking brethren. If you're a cop, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say anything bad about you. I really am not.
Except you're a liar. Because cops are always
Except
liars.
Cops cover up for cops. We know it. We know it. We live with it. This is the fucking, the sad state of things,
CC Nelly said Jen McCabe called too many times, that she was maybe looking for his phone in the house. Yeah. That's interesting.
Suzanne Ford laughs out loud and says, what was she wanting with Higgins? I don't get it. It is weird that she was hitting on Higgins. It's just weird to me. And look, it may be that she was catty and that she was trying to create this problem. I don't know. It's entirely possible. But that doesn't make her a murderer. It's just, Karen Reed is messy. Like, she's a messy chick for sure.
Yeah.
And when you add alcohol to what's already a messy kind of, lifestyle, then it breeds problems. It breeds discontent. And here we are.
Elefante said that Faraday bags block GPS location and health data not tracked until removed. That's why 400 steps in the AM. Oh, that's so interesting.
What was that?
Hazel, the Faraday bag, that it would block the phone from registering GPS location and health data.
Yeah.
Hazel Weatherfield said he grabbed another phone, a snow broom, and a Faraday bag from the police station.
Yep.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, so the Faraday bag is the key there. And then, and this is the thing, like when somebody mentioned, like, do you really think they would cover this up? He incinerated that phone, or he put that phone in a bin, in a recycle bin on a military base where he knew, or where it's known that the phones, or that or phones, collected from military personnel, are incinerated, that they are destroyed, never to be seen again. They got rid of the dog that they had for 9 years. Was it 9 years?
I can't remember.
Why would you rehome an old dog?
Well, people do it all the time. It's fucking depressing, but this is suspicious. Crazy GMA said, wasn't it Higgins' car that was parked in the street in the path that she supposedly took?
Yes, it was.
And apparently the plow driver said that he saw his car move. So maybe John O'Keefe was carried out to the car and then moved down the street and then brought out of the car. But
why would he be carried out to the car?
So that because if you know that your neighbors across the street have a Ring camera that points across the street.
But that footage is gone, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But they didn't know that it would have been gone. So
they didn't know that the insinuation is they got it gone.
Yes, obviously. But what I'm saying is, if you didn't want your neighbor's Ring camera to see you carrying a body out to the front of the house, you might put it in a car, drive the car there, and then use the car to shield your dumping the body. If
you guys are new to us on TikTok and you've just been hanging out with us tonight, why don't you give us a follow, because we pretty much have a good time here. We do. And
you said that really Canadian.
We do it over on YouTube as well.
We pretty much have a good time here.
We pretty much have a good time, okay? You know what we do? We sit around, we have some laughs, and we talk some shit. That's what we do. We also sell my book, Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir. You can get it for 20% off on my website. Just go Too Real 20 in checkout and take my money. It's actually Yahoo. It's actually Amazon's money that I'm giving you.
Dale, it's late. I think we have to go, but I didn't get to all of these. Do
you want to get like comments. A couple more? We can knock out a few more. It's 9:14. Put a little extra. We can put a little extra in. We got a crowd.
Juanita said, I was in a live and I kept asking who was breathing like that. I thought it was the person doing it. I felt really bad for that lady because, it looked uncomfortable. It looked like she was like, I don't know.
I just love how she went, ooh.
It was really musical.
It's just like, I hope when I'm finally at that age where I start making involuntary noises, that they're just as pleasant as that. I don't want to be the guy who gets old and he's like, why
not? You think you're gonna care?
Yeah,
no,
maybe not.
Care. Wow, Elefante's got so much information. She said 98 dog bite fatalities in 2023 in the USA, average 43 per year.
Yeah, average 43 per year. So an expert is somebody who autopsied 50 of them, for sure. In the entire United States, there's 50 dog deaths or deaths by dog a year.
I think the way that number is so high is that it wasn't always fatal wounding. It was
no. She said those were fatalities.
Oh, okay.
She said 50 fatalities and 75 fatalities, but in her whole career, We're not talking about
Yeah.
we're talking about spanning decades. So it makes sense.
Jill, 40-something mom said, I can't see how anyone can say they are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he was hit by a car.
It's impossible. It just seems like an entire impossibility. I did think there was a very slight chance that they could have gotten a verdict today, because I thought there was a chance that they could sit down and the foreman would go, all right, is there anybody here
who thinks he was hit by a car?
Who believes that John O'Keefe was hit by a car?
It might have gone that way, but now they just have to deliberate about all of the other charges,
which is like DUI and all sorts of stuff.
Suzanne Ford said, or broken bones. Hello, been a nurse for 40 years. No broken bones.
Exactly. Thank you. We've had a few nurses show up in these lives as we've been going along here, and they all say the same damn thing.
I've been asking this question for a long time. Hazel Weatherfield said, why didn't John jump out of the way? They want us to believe that she reversed like 30 feet or whatever with her bright red brake lights. At 25
miles an hour.
With her bright reverse lights, right? Shining right at him. And he's not able to like stagger to safety in time.
It just never stops being
Suzanne
ridiculous.
Ford's like, you break a tail light to smithereens, but you don't break a bone, please.
Are you going to miss the trial?
I am going to miss the trial. I was really glad that the finale was so gratifying, because Jackson did such a good job.
He killed it. My God. And Brennan just flubbed his way through it. He didn't say one damn thing that was compelling to me.
I will say that I'm going to miss this trial until we get to, because Dale and I are definitely covering the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, even though it's federal, we're going to cover it live. Like we're gonna find who we're gonna tie
Dale
into, and
is a filmmaker who has been in a celebrity lawsuit and all of the scandals that are associated with that. And so I think that your input is so valuable for everything that they're alleging in this. What? Oh,
I'm just looking at some YouTube comments, but yes, that's true. We're going to cover the Blake Lively trial. I believe that's going to go to trial. We're going to cover every minute of it. I was in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. We had two of the biggest attorneys in LA opposed to each other across the table in our lawsuit, and I learned a lot, like you would not believe. I sat through dozens and dozens and dozens of hours, I suppose probably hundreds of hours of depositions. I worked with the lawyers closely. I just learned so much, and so I think I can offer a lot of insight. And if I can't, I can be hella entertaining. Is hella a thing still?
No, but it should be.
I don't know what a thing is anymore, do I? I got a gray beard, you see. But I got a good attitude. Delicate won't be here on Monday, so Monday will be empty.
It will be empty, devoid of all joy and happiness. Well, Delicate, I hope that you have a really wonderful weekend. I hope that you lay low.
TX Shingen just showed up. He goes, I just got home. She not guilty?
A reminder that everybody is supposed to lay low this weekend. The astrology is bonkers, and you guys are warned.
Mars is in a bad way this weekend. You guys need to lay low, especially if there's a chance that you could be involved in anything that might be intense or provocative or potentially explosive. If an argument starts creeping up on you with somebody, choose the other way. Probably the best move to make this weekend.
Or at least postpone your retaliation until after the weekend is over.
Just be like, I was going to strike you, but I won't until Monday.
That's right. Stew on it a little bit.
You got to stew on it. On Monday, you're going to get a slap. You'll see. Before we go, can I offer one more time my plight? I'm Dale Wheatley. I wrote and produced a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio called Dawn's Plum. And those guys decided to ruin my life over it. And I'm not joking. I mean, they took me down hard. And I didn't do shit. To prove it, I wrote a book called Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir. I really wrote the book because Leonardo DiCaprio called me a liar. And he called me a thief. And it really pissed me off. And I don't have the kind of money to hire the publicists and do all the things that he can do to destroy people's reputations and to take them down in life. But I do have one thing he doesn't have. I have the ability to write. And I'm not like a Pulitzer Prize caliber writer, but I'm a damn entertaining writer. And I wrote a good book. It's called Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir, as I said. And if you don't believe me, and I wouldn't if I were you, go check out the reviews on Amazon. They speak for themselves. the book is really well received. I'm truly humble about it, actually, truth be told. I'm just trying to be confident right now and not sit slouched like I do. So I hope you'll please not only like the live and join the live, but read the first chapter of the book on or go and read a sample on Amazon and let me prove it to you. I think you'll really want to go down the road of Too Real. It's a very interesting story, and I could really use your support. I've enjoyed the shit out of tonight.
Yeah, I had a really fun time. We had a lot of people here. They were sharing so much more information than I even know.
I'm so sorry that the...
you guys should all be covering this, and we should be joining your lives.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Exactly. I'm so sorry that YouTube took a shit on you guys. I love you guys so much. Again, if you guys ever want to check us out on YouTube, you'll be able to see Angela there, and we have some better audio. You're welcome to do that. You just have to click the YouTube link in my bio there on TikTok. If you want to visit my website, there's also a link for that. And on that website, you can also purchase the book for 20% off. Just Too Real 20 is all you got to put into the cart, and I'll ship the book, and I'll even sign it. All you do, if you want it signed, though, you got to let me know, because otherwise I'm lazy about that shit. You will, though. Everybody gets a signed bookmark. And you know how they're worth a lot of money on eBay.
Susan Ford said, "Cannot wait to read your book. I will definitely be getting on Amazon to order it." And asked, when is our next live?
Well, we do lives every day at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Monday through Friday.
And beginning next Monday, I'm going to actually do live readings of the book throughout the week. I don't have set times yet, but it's going to be early afternoon on the East Coast. I'm going to come on. I'm going to read for an hour. I'm not going to really do a lot of chatting. I'm just going to come on. I'm going to read the book, and then I'm going to split. But you're welcome to join me. It's pretty fun, and it'll give you a little sample of the book. Also, if you have the book, it's really fun to join and read along, according to some people who've already done that. So I cannot do that. It is not possible for me to do that. I suppose I could read along if I record myself and then read along to myself, but that's fucking weird and probably vain, and that's just not up my alley. I probably wouldn't do that. Thank you for buying the book if you buy the book. Thank you for reading the book if you read the book. I had such a great time with you tonight. I hope you'll come back and join us again. We will be back on Monday. We are watching This Jury, and then we are going to be covering many, many more things, including my own silly little plight in this wonderful, wonderful life. Have a safe weekend. Don't let Mars fuck with you. All right? If something happens, back off it. Love you guys. Have a wonderful one. Good night, Angela.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.